I want to cover this Tory thing real quick. So if you guys don't know, it appears that there's mountain support for Tory Lanez, either pardon or a look into the case about maybe some of the evidence that seemed to be maybe in his favor, and that maybe a conviction should have not been the decision. So, sorry. If you don't know, we've seen a ton of celebrities post this. They're supporting Tory Lanez and they're advocating for his release. And I mean, some of the people who have posted this, including Drake. It's included, who else? So we got Drake, Kodak Black. Where is it? I don't even. Yeah, Drake shared a petition urging Governor Newsom to pardon Tory Lanez. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Let me be very clear. I'm a straight shooter with y'all. I love Tory, but I'm always a straight shooter. So where Tory's at right now, he has Hail Marys left. I'm going to be honest. This is Hail Mary land, okay? He's on 4th and 32. This is not 4th and 2. It's 4th and 32. When you get in the land of you need a pardon or you need what's called a habeas corpus. A habeas corpus usually is for people who are detained without cause, and they're detained for a while, and there's no legal basis for their detainment. And sometimes, and especially when you see people, sometimes it's even illegal aliens detained in some very non-traditional or cool conditions, Guantanamo Bay, etc. The idea of habeas corpus is the government needs to explain or give a reason why they are detaining someone and preventing them from their rights, which is a right to freedom. I say that to say it's a Hail Mary, okay? I'm always going to be cautioned and I'm always going to be measured in how I speak about Tory Lanez's case, because I was one of those people that thought Tory was going to beat the case. So I don't want to ever give y'all false hope to act like Tory's about to get out tomorrow. I want to be very, very honest, okay? I think the people who did that, who went to trial, the reporters, I think they weren't truthful. And people like me, who I sit here, and even with this case with Diddy, sometimes we feel we're getting A, and B happens. I talked to Mo Gagnon later. He said he had a feeling that things could go left once Tory's own witness switched up on him for the prosecutor. So I want to be very careful. If you're wondering why I give the updates on Tory like this, I want to be very honest. There's 2 appeals in. One's appeal for a new trial, right? Citing that, hey, there's new evidence. Number one, well, they haven't put this new thing that Kelsey's bodyguard has witnessed or heard some stuff. They haven't put that in yet, but the current evidence says the DNA evidence, new reports or analyzation of the DNA that was found on the weapon actually excludes Tory, and that's exculpatory. Appellate court has not weighed on that yet. That is a possibility. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm giving y'all, I'm a straight shooter. I think it's 30% right now for Tory. So that's 30%. They have another thing called habeas corpus, 30%. You don't add both of them because it's either one or the other, so it's still 30%. It's one or either, or one or the other. Then the last thing, which I think is a 10% chance, is what's called a pardon. Tory Lanez cannot be pardoned by the President of the United States. Donald Trump does not have the authority to pardon a state prisoner. He has the influence to affect and influence the pardon of a state prisoner, but it's very rare historically that any president tries to meddle in state business, especially with violent offenses to that nature. But it has been done before. Will Trump say, oh, nah, get Tory out of jail? I think that would move the needle. I don't think so, being honest. So how do you get pardoned if you're Tory Lanez? You get pardoned in a state court by the governor of California. Now, let me tell you why being pardoned is very important for Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez has been convicted of what's called a felony. Usually a felony in most places is a crime that is punishable by a sentence of more than 365 days in jail, which means a year and a day. Okay? Tory Lanez, who's not a resident of the United States, because he was convicted of a felony that carries a punishment of over a year and a day. By the way, he was given 10 years. What happens is that ICE and immigration proceedings immediately kick in once he's done with the sentence. Tory would be seen and now known as a convicted felon. And usually when convicted felons serve their sentence, at least especially under the new guidelines that Trump got, you get immediately deported. If it was Biden, maybe not. Under Trump, you get immediately picked up by ICE and deportation starts. Now, Trump is only going to be president for the next 3 years. 2028, he will be out, barring some other things that we don't know about now. We don't know if there will be a Republican in or another Democrat. If it's Democrat, they might relax all of the deportation laws and might allow people who have been convicted of felonies to still stay in the United States. However, right now, if Tory was released, say he did his 10 years and was released right now, he would be put in an ICE detention facility to be deported back to Canada. Okay. The person who could do the pardon is someone named Governor Gavin Newsom. He's a liberal governor for the state of California. And the reason why I say there's a 10% chance, because I do believe Tory Lanez team and everybody else is doing an amazing job of creating what we call a pardon package. Some of you guys might not know this. The governor, the president of the United States don't just pardon random people. You get advocacy groups, you get a lot of money behind somebody, and they start putting together a package. It's almost like PR. They start promoting. That's what happened with Lil Wayne when he got pardoned. That's what happened with Kodak Black when he got pardoned. I can tell you this now. He got pardoned, and this is why I'm cool with this guy. Bradford Cohen, a guy who's came on here a lot, he's friends with Trump. He referred both cases to Trump for pardoning, worked with other people to do the package, and Trump pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak. Everything I'm saying here is all facts. The problem is with Gavin Newsom, he's a Democratic, liberal governor in a constituent or a state of California that loves homosexuals, transsexuals. They prefer women over men. And for that very reason, because of their woke ideology, it's very unlikely that that person will be down to pardon someone who is alleged to have shot a woman, whether it's believed or not. Why? Is it because Tory is innocent or guilty? No. It's because your constituents need you to be woke, and that's not woke. Woke is protect women. Woke is believe all women. Woke is even if they lie 50 times, believe them again. So I believe that this pardon, and I do think it's helping to change public perception, because I do think now it's cool to support Tory. Will this governor who has the power, because I'm telling you Trump won't touch it, will he pardon Tory? I don't think so. I just don't think so. However, I do think that the growing pressure, the growing noise is good for Tory. And I know I say I don't think he will, but you never know. The noise might grow so loud enough that he might have to. Now, I say that to say because when I speak about freeing Tory Lanez, I like to speak from a legal perspective. I've spoke my own opinion many a times, but at this point, it doesn't matter what your opinion is, whether he shot her or not. Now we're talking about, despite your opinion, do you believe his sentence should be commuted, which means shortened? Do you think he should be pardoned, which means his crime should be forgiven? Again, it doesn't matter if you believe he did it or not. We know what a conviction is. Now, I say that to say, because like, I hate when people try to put me on sides of this Tory shit. I'm a straight shooter when it comes to this shit. I'm going to be straight the whole time. So, Drew, put this up there. This is the straightest shooter you're going to get with any of this shit. I done told you, I think Tory got between a 10% and a 30% chance of being released. Maybe it will grow because people do love him. And people are starting to realize that absent this woke ideology, you're able to look at other things that actually worked in his favor that made you think, damn, well, how did he get convicted despite these things? You know, this idea or theory that Kelsey Nicole shot Meg, people said, well, why would Meg say her? Also, they said, well, Tory's on the jail phone. He basically admitted it. Well, let me give you another scenario. I don't know who did the shooting, so don't ask me for my opinion. I do have an opinion, but it's not about my opinion. It's all about the law at this point. So I'm only going to speak in fact. But I'm going to use one conjecture and I'm going to use one scenario for y'all, because when people keep talking about Tory in a jail call, they act like he acknowledged and admitted that he did it, because they said, well, why would somebody, if he didn't do it, get on and apologize, say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I hope y'all forgive me. That's a great question. I ask that shit to myself too. I'm human. I ask that shit to myself. I'm not on nobody's payroll. I ask questions. But I implore you guys to be fair across the board. Be fair. Ask the similar question in the other sense. If this been your homegirl for over 10 years, you met Tory 6 or 8 months ago, I don't care what dick he done slung on you. If Tory Lanez done shot your homegirl, even if y'all were arguing over a man, why the hell would you be on the phone with Tory Lanez? Riddle me that. So you knew her for over 10 years. And a nigga who, let's say he shot her, because you were there. Why would you be on the phone with him? Why would you be on the phone with him listening to, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? Why? Why not say on the phone, Tory, why you shoot my friend? Why did you hurt my friend? Why were you trying to hurt her or me? These are questions we need answers. There's a lack of credibility all over the place. You wanted us to believe that he shot you, but didn't want us to have to understand, maybe if he did, what the motive would be. You're the victim. You're shown up in court. You've pronounced on social media what happened. But yet you go on Gayle King and say, I've never had sex with this man a day in my life. We have no intimate relationship. All the while knowing that the argument and fight that started was because y'all had an intimate relationship. But you were cool to go lie to Gayle King. There's too many inconsistencies. You see, the American justice system, which I'm so happy to be a Jamaican American, someone who vehemently defends not only the flag, but what we have with our Constitution and our way of life. I love being here. Trust me, I love it here. Why on earth, if there are so many inconsistencies, would we not have some doubts or reason or cause to question why is someone incarcerated when even the average Joe could say this doesn't seem like it's beyond a reasonable doubt? We had changed statements. We had people who couldn't keep the same type of, okay, we said one thing here. No, I didn't fuck him. No, now I did. Oh, I didn't know there was a gun. Now I know there's a gun. The stylist is saying this. Sean Kelly is saying this. The stories are all over the place. But nevertheless, I'm a guy who believes in law and order. Without law and order, we have nothing. Does the system get things wrong at times? Of course. we should deal with it civilly and through the legal system. And this is where I get confused. You know, I said this about the DDG case, and I've said this in many other cases when it comes to women and men. A lot of times when women can't win the narrative battle, they get legal. It's very important that they win the narrative battle. So let me explain. Newsflash. I want to give I don't know if this is a congratulations I need to give, or I don't know if, I should just say a prayer for her because, she's, I guess, technically a victim. I want to say to Meg Thee Stallion, Meg, I empathize with you. We pray for you. If you ask me personally, I do believe you got hurt that night. I don't know off the hands of who. I do hear what you say, but there's a lot of things that suggest otherwise. And that's why I'm skeptical. But I do pray for Meg that she gets the healing that she needs, because unfortunately for her, it doesn't feel like her peace is coming from the fact that she was vindicated in even the story she told on the stand because Tory was found guilty. It appears that the vindication she seeks is that Tory stays in jail. Now, let me explain the difference. She went to that trial. She cried. She testified. She gave her story. The jury agreed with her. Now, that should be her healing journey. We've seen in situations where someone has done something, maybe they've been contrite enough, maybe the laws have changed, maybe other circumstances that came about. We've seen people be let out of jail, their sentence reduced, or other things. I say this to say, people campaigning for the release, the pardon, or the reinvestigation of the trial, I think Meg has to realize that's not an anti-you thing. If you're a victim, you should be working on your own victimhood. It's not tied to Tory being locked up. We've seen many people get let out, and it's not because of who they supposedly harmed. It could be because of a bunch of extenuating circumstances. So when I see Meg commenting, or she feels offended that there's any movement about Tory's possible release, that confuses me. Meg, you already got your justice. They said he's guilty. The idea of how long he serves, or if people want him to get out, or even if it's a pardon. And this is what I've always said about Meg. If she's playing a political PR game, you already got your win. Who gives a fuck what Tory's saying now? As long as Tory doesn't mention you. And Tory doesn't mention you. You have a restraining order against him and he's in jail. He can't. And it goes back to what I keep saying. What's my new favorite saying? If they can't win the public narrative, they start to sue. Meg, Tory isn't the one that's saying you're lying, his fans. When you come out and lash out and call him a demon and a devil, because he's not going to just take this conviction lying down and just go die on the sword, he's saying, I'm going to fight for my freedom because I do have rights. That's not a indictment of you. That's a man trying to fight for his own rights. But you've taken it to be the opposite. You're taking what Tory's fans and the growing momentum. There was a time when UN was basically trying to say if anybody supported Tory, they better stay there. They're going to be over there with them because features, touring, other type of collabs, it was out the window. But we just seen the biggest artist in the world, Drake, he supported. Seen a bunch of other people, they're supporting. I guess I'm not trying to be adversarial here with Meg. I'm trying to let her know that the people who are riding for Tory Lanez freedom, it's not necessarily an indictment on you. You already got your conviction. I feel like she's searching for true peace, but also career, happiness. If Tory gets out, you know what happened in the trial. You should heal off of that. But this idea where you keep putting up messages, like, for example, this. And by the way, if Tory was putting up messages towards you, I would say the same to Tory. Meg put up a message, a lot of it that was typed in caps, saying, at what point are y'all going to stop making me have to relive being shot by Tory? At what point are Tory and y'all fans going to stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? 1 minute him or y'all are saying I was never shot, to now y'all are saying, to now y'all letting him play in y'all face again and say I was shot, but it wasn't him. Okay. I'm sick of this shit. Leave me alone. He ain't dare get on that stand and deny he shot me. And that was his choice because he knows he did that shit. I don't give a fuck about a blog or a bot. Why in the world would me, Meg Thee Stallion, have to lie about this motherfucker about a shooting? Or shooting me? How y'all mad at the person that got shot? Facts are facts. He did it. It was proven in court. Fuck the hate campaign on the internet. Tory, you shot me. Ain't no new fucking evidence. Y'all been saying the same shit for years. Tory, please leave me alone, you fucking demon. I'm off this silly ass internet shit. Bye. Meg, I get you. The only problem I see is that Tory Lanez doesn't mention your name directly. Tory Lanez just got recently stabbed 14 times. We don't even know if he's completely breathing or could even move on his own at this point. If Tory was slandering you, if Tory was dropping songs, making fun of you, acting like you were lying, that would be another thing. Tory Lanez is nursing himself back to health after a pretty much attempt on his life. You are never going to find true healing if you're concerned about what the hell Tory and Tory's fans, specifically Tory fans, are doing. That's the problem. So again, I watched this and I said, well, Tory didn't say nothing. Well, what is she talking about? Then it dawned on me. She wants this guy in jail forever. She wants him to die in jail. I digress. All right. She mad at Tory. Tory ain't say shit. She's mad at fans because fans are now believing Tory. And by the way, let me put it up to this. So actually, yeah, I didn't mean to end there. The problem is Meg is watching the public narrative change. The Kodak Blacks, the Drakes of this world, they would shout out Tory, but they were scared to just post a petition saying this man is wrongly accused. A lot of people are saying it now. It's growing. That sentiment is like a seed that you just planted, and now it's growing. That 30% I said for each that 30% for each appeal, I think with public support, it's now going to be turned to closer to 50. You have other people like Rep Luna, who's a congresswoman out of, I believe, Florida. She has tweeted in support of Tory Lanez by saying, and let's get to this. She says, we have compelling evidence proving that Tory Lanez innocence. He will be released in the next 36 hours. Those who rush to call for his incarceration and worse yet push false evidence should prepare to be held accountable. Before then, she tweeted yesterday speaking about Tory, and she actually said, so I can find it. Maybe I can't. Regardless, she continued to tweet and said Tory Lanez's defense was denied full access to DNA evidence. The entire samples were used by the prosecutor before the defense testing. Reports weren't shared until before a just trial. That's a violation of due process. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think that's criminally wrong. I don't know if Tory has much of a case on that on appeal. I believe that the government's case is that we offered you the chance to test, you declined. That's why we used all of it up. We'll see if that's their situation. Anna Pauline Luna, again the rep for Florida, says Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years, despite having no prior record, largely due to a firearm enhancement law now under scrutiny for racial bias. Black defendants face a 92% higher rate of this enhancement. That's not justice, that's discrimination. Justice isn't served when due process is ignored, evidence is mishandled, and race plays a role in sentencing. Tory Lanez deserves a fair hearing, and if justice prevails, he deserves his freedom. She then continued by saying Tory Lanez's conviction and sentencing raises major constitutional concerns. The First Amendment, use of lyrics as evidence. The Sixth Amendment, the right to confrontation. 14th Amendment, equal protection under racially biased enhancements, says these issues are under urgent review. Now, keep in mind, she is a rep in Florida, not in California, where this case is actually at. Says Tory Lanez has filed a direct appeal, a habeas petition, and a successful habeas, all now consolidated by the California Court of Appeals. They have seated a panel. Oral arguments are coming. The case is far from over. Due process matters. We'll see where that goes, people. We'll see where that goes. Okay.